Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday Morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. In the pre market this morning, stock index futures are currently trading above fair value. We also have gold and cryptos trading up in the pre market this morning, while crude oil is down slightly. Now, we don't have any major economic numbers coming out this morning. The major numbers will be coming out on Thursday. We do have a whole bunch of earnings coming out this week that could certainly help change the direction of the market. Now, the VIX is on a sell signal at the moment. That's supportive for higher stock prices. The first sign that something different is happening is if the VIX closes above 1759 on Monday. Looking at some of the big numbers everyone's watching, Bitcoin took a run at 125 last week. It's didn't make it, but got pretty close, and we may be taking a run at it again this week. We've been clustering around the 118.75 level, and we're trading right around there in the pre-market. Ethereum picked up the pace last week, made a new high, heading towards 3750. Should be able to hit that this week. U.S. dollar index is on a buy signal, bonds on a sell signal. Bond yields, of course, moved up last week, peaked on Wednesday, then pulled back on Thursday and Friday. We've got that May high as a potential target. The price of gold has been treading water for the past couple of weeks. That's also true for the price of crude oil. So no real trend in either of those. Looking at the major index ETFs, starting off with the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000, which flip-flopped last week. Remember, on Tuesday, we had a huge number of bearish reversal signals, and then on Wednesday, we had a huge number of bullish reversal signals. And here we are. We ended the week with the Russell back on a buy signal. That happened to a lot of sectors of the market. We've got semiconductors still on a buy signal, no change there. No change for the iShares for the TSX 60, making a new high on Friday. That was also true for the Vanguard Canada ETF. U.S. financials flip-flopped last week. They ended the week on a buy signal. That's also true for U.S. banks and U.S. regional banks. Canadian financials, Canadian banks making new highs on Thursday and Friday. Next up, let's take a look at the most actively traded stocks, starting off in Wall Street. Now, in this group of stocks, they're all looking pretty bullish. We've got one sell signal in the group, though. It's certainly not Lucid. Lucid had a big up day on Thursday and an inside day on Friday. Now, if you had an order in at 273, that got filled at the open on Thursday. If you had an order in at 313, that also got filled on Thursday. And so now, however many shares you have left, split that in half and put an order in up there at 352. I put it in at 349 myself, and then wait and see what happens. Of course, to get finally kicked out of the stock, we need a close below the lower channel line, which is way down here at 232. That's not likely to happen on Monday. And of course, that lower channel line is going to continue to move higher daily. Looking at Big Bear, we're still on a buy signal here, trying to take out the recent high. No change for NVIDIA. It's still on a buy signal here. We tried to get to 375 on Friday, got as high as 374.52. If we can take out 375, then 187.50 comes into play. Inside day on Friday for Warner Brothers. NEO, no change there. New high for this move. We're trying to get to 469. That is our next target. Then we had the trade desk pull back, still above the upper channel line, so not concerned there. There's a new high for Quarterscape on Friday. Inside day for D-Wave, no change there. Then we've got NU back on a sell signal as of Friday's close. New high for Joby Aviation. We're trying to get to 1875. That's our next target. No change for American Airlines. We dipped into the channel on Friday, but still closed above the upper channel line. So a close below 1190 would change things on Monday. There's a new high for Rigetti. Rigetti is starting to trade above our projected trading range here, and so we'll come up with new targets over the next couple of days. But if you remember, you can refer to the weekly charts to get the next target. Then Denison Mines making a new high for this move. We're up at 215. The high on Friday was 217. If we can take out the 215 level, then 234 is our next target. There's Archer Aviation making a new high for this move. Our next target's 1406. Then looking at Tesla just treading water here, moved up a little on Friday, heading towards 343.75 is our next target. Then Ford still on a sell signal, no change there. Next up, let's take a look at the TSX most actives from Friday's trading action. Starting off with Cenovus. Cenovus still on a sell signal. That would change on Monday with a close above 19.75. Not a trade I would take if that were to happen. I would want the stock to sell off a bit more before jumping back in. Then looking at TC Energy, we've been in the channel for the last couple of days. A close on Monday below 64.91 would give us a sell signal. No change for Canadian Natural Resources, making a new low for this move on Friday. Northern Dynasty got clipped on Thursday. This trade started back in the start of May, so you've had lots of opportunity to lock in profits along the way. And if you still had shares on coming into Friday's trading action, you should have only had a few shares left. Then looking at Whitecap making a new high here, trying to get to 10.16. Then looking at Circle K, it popped on Thursday, had an inside day on Friday. We were not on the right side of that particular trade coming into Thursday's trading action. Looking at Enbridge, we are still on a buy signal here. No change for Equinox, still on a buy signal. Then Denison Mines, no change there. We're trying to break through 293, and then of course $3 is potentially psychological resistance. Above that, our next target is 313. TD Bank still holding $100 as support, so no change there. Looking at the Royal Bank is starting to break away from 181.25, so there's certainly the possibility of a move up to 187.50, but Friday's move, we actually closed slightly lower on the day, so we may be running out of steam here for the Royal Bank. We'll just have to wait and see. Then looking at Baytech, we're back on a buy signal as of Friday's close. Not necessarily a trade I would take at this time. Now, here's an ugly stock. Barrick has been treading water for quite a while now, and we got into this range early in June and haven't been able to break out of it. If you go back to the panic zone chart, I always talk about the fact that the easy money is made off the bottom of the panic zones when a pressure zone has formed. It's this initial thrust up where you make all the money. Up at the top of the panic zones, it's always harder to make money up here. And so Barrick, I would just stand aside and let the market do what it wants to do with this particular stock. Looking at Suncor, we're still on a buy signal here. Things would change on Monday with a close below 53.04. And then looking at BCE, we've had a nice run here. We've got up to the 32.81 level, had trouble breaking away from it. If we can reverse here, then 34.38 would be our next target to the upside. Otherwise, a close below 32.12 would give us a sell signal for BCE on Monday. There's Manulife. Manulife came back on a buy signal on Thursday, but look at the pattern here. Since the start of May, it's been a series of lower highs and lower lows, and that pattern won't be broken until we start to take out the high from back here in June. So there's no evidence that that's about to change coming into Monday's trading action. Looking at Energy Fuels, new high for that stock on Friday. We're up at the 1250 level, trying to get to 1406. That is our next target. And then last up, Air Canada, still on a sell signal here. No change coming into Monday's trading action. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Stock index futures still above fair value. And of course, we don't have any major economic numbers coming out this morning that could disturb the market. So far, it looks like we're going to have a bullish start to the week. Have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Tuesday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.